3, 2, 1. Busch. Oh my God, that's cold.
Wow.
You say wow every single time. Is that what you're trying to make your tagline? Man. That's your shtick? You're going with wow.
Yeah, because if I said, oh my God, that's cold, I would just be piggybacking.
Yeah. We'll work on it. I don't know if wow's it, Ryan.
We'll use it for this one.
Okay. Welcome back, guys, to You Betcha Radio podcast, the coldest podcast in all of the Midwest. This is solely the Palooza podcast is what we're calling it. Whoa, what we're calling it. Let's get in the show. Here at You Betcha, we know that life is way too short to hold your own drink, and that's why we have the Bev Buckle. Now, the Bev Buckle is a belt buckle that is the world's first retractable drink holder. And I tell you what, this thing holds your Busch lattes like a charm. They are handmade here in the U.S., and these guys were also on Shark Tank. So they are the perfect gift for someone who loves to drink Busch lattes, but, just doesn't want to be bothered with the fact of holding the Busch latte. You can find these guys on their social media at BevBuckle or on their website, bevbuckle.com. That's BEVBUCKLE.com. And if you want 15% off of your order, use promo code YouBetcha with no space. That's YOUBETCHA. You Betcha, promo code 50% off at bevbuckle.com. And I hope that you guys love your Busch latte holder. I want to talk to you guys about U Motors Motorsports and Marine, located in Fargo, North Dakota and Pelican Lake, Minnesota. They have all of the best brands: Honda, Yamaha, Ski-Doo, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, Nautique boats, Super boats, Supreme boats, all of the boats, and even Avalon pontoons. If you mention this ad, you can get 20% off parts and accessories, and obviously some exclusions may apply, but you can get 20% off parts and accessories. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, but also at their website, umotorsinc.com. Again, that's umotorsinc.com.
I would venture to say it's almost the nectar of the gods. Back, baby, back. I want my Busch. Oh my God, that's cold.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in to episode 7, the Palooza podcast of the YB Radio podcast. Remember, go follow us on all social media platforms at OUBetcha. That's at OHH You Betcha. Guys, we just dropped one of the coldest shirts last week. We were pretty anxious to put this one out.
Yeah,
people have been asking for it.
And it's had good reception. People were pretty amped when we put out the "Oh my God, that's cold" shirt, along with, you can't see it on the podcast if you're listening, but right now I'm wearing the Kelly Green You Betty shirt, along with all the other shirts that we've done previous in Kelly Green for St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's Day is coming.
You got to have a drinking shirt. You got to have your drinking shirt for St. Patrick's Day when you're on your pub crawl.
I'm that guy who, like, I was walking through Fleet Farm today, and all the St. Patty's Day shirts were up, like the "Kiss Me, I'm Irish," all those generic sayings. I'm the type of guy that the day before St. Patrick's Day, I will go and just buy a green shirt because I don't own one.
Well, and you kind of buy one specifically for St. Patrick's Day, because especially if you're doing a pub crawl, because you're going to ruin that shirt.
Right.
There's going to be so much booze spilled on it. It's probably going to get ripped at some point.
Yep.
You're going to be sweating like a dog because you're going to be just dancing like a fiend on the dance floor to a live band or something.
Yep.
Food coloring, the green beer will be everywhere. So,
So don't wear good shoes. Get a cheap $10 Fruit of the Loom Fleet Farm style St. Patty's Day shirt, or you could get some really high quality cotton polyester blend with the You Betcha designs on it.
Yeah, go to the website, get the "Oh my God, that's cold" shirt, and pick yourself up a St. Patrick's Day shirt, because I'm drinking in it right now, and I tell you what, it feels phenomenal. So
yeah, I'm gonna shop ahead of time.
Yeah, if you want to have a good St. Patrick's Day, you're gonna want a green You Betcha shirt.
Yeah. So guys, the shirts are out. Go check them out. God, it was a big week last week.
Before we get into it, I am exhausted.
I know you are.
I'm exhausted from last week. I mean, you heard me in the intro. I was screwing up my words, and so this is what we're in the biz for. It just the content never stops. So even if you're feeling a little exhausted, I'm here. I might break out in spontaneous sweats from my exhaustion throughout this. So you might see me rub my forehead a little bit. You might see me just at some point I might just pass out.
And then I'll just continue
But you
on.
have to keep going. You must move this ship along.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously, I'm being a little dramatic there, but
it's the cost of doing business.
Yeah. I mean, I am pretty exhausted, but I am a type of guy that gets energized by that many people showing up to your event. Well, and to start the week off, the week started on Wednesday. It's kind of when we had the cornhole selection show, Facebook Live, which did really well. Where we just picked the teams and who they'll be playing against. Then quick turnaround for me. I was up at 5:30 or something, which to some people that's not a lot. That's not early, but for me, I'm like a 2 a.m. sleep until 9 kind of guy. So getting up at 5:30 was a quick turnaround for me.
But again, it's something you get energized by.
Yes.
So 5:30 that day. Where were you going at?
So we went to Detroit Lakes.
Okay.
And we were on the morning show in Detroit Lakes. Those guys were awesome. We were drinking beer at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah, it was great. I had it on while I was laying in bed. It sounded just super crisp, and the two radio hosts sounded great. They were super into what you're doing. And
I had a little rat-tat-tat with with Elliot, the guy on the morning show. So watch your back, Ryan. He may be replacing you soon.
Yeah, my job security isn't so good at this point.
I don't think that I pay as well as the morning show though.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be too worried.
No, but it was great that he said on the radio show that he was going to show up on Saturday. He was going to come check it out. And that's kind of just like hey, yeah, I'll come check it out tomorrow. Could be just a ploy to just make good conversation. But he showed up. It was great.
Yeah.
I BS with him a little bit, and
he did the polar plunge too, which
I would want to go straight home.
Sounds miserable.
And get straight into some blankets, a sweatshirt and sweatpants,
hot tub or something.
Hot tub.
But yeah. So on Thursday I had that going on, and then we launched the shirts that day. Also, to add on top of all this stuff for the week, the landlord was sealing the floor in another unit next to the bunker. And so the fumes are so bad that we were getting headaches and stuff in here. So we couldn't even work at the bunker. So I'd have to come here for an hour, shoot the stuff that I need to, and leave and go home and edit everything at home. And so that was kind of a mess.
So I have this vision in my head. While you were doing the bracket show, I was here hustling away, printing You Betchapalooza t-shirts by myself. Now, mind you, I had been here for so long that I just couldn't really smell it anymore. It's kind of like carbon monoxide. It's like the invisible gas.
That's how you die is carbon monoxide. Though.
So I have the vision is you're walking up the stairs. I'm just face down on the floor. Heat press is about to start on fire.
Yep.
Shirts are burning all around me.
Yeah, you pass out as you push it down.
And
so
I just
then
get revived, and we got to finish the shirts up.
Well, what I would do is I'd go get some ammonia smelling salts.
Yeah,
just wave it in front of your nose and be like, "Hey, stop taking a break. This isn't break time. This isn't nap time.
You can take a break when you're done."
Yeah, yeah. You were doing that when we were doing the selection show.
It was great. I had it. Oh man, that was such a great night. We were getting shirts printed up. I had just my phone propped up watching you doing the selection show. I was throwing some comments in there. And
Ryan was chirping people.
I was. Yeah, I had to.
We'll get to how you did in the tournament here coming up, Brian. Okay. I'll finish the recap of kind of the story of how it all weekend played out. So when we launched the shirts Thursday, Friday morning, again, another morning show, Froggy 99.9. They actually came out to You Betchapalooza. We played a game. it was called Outburst. It's like an old school game.
Okay.
But like all of the answers, it's from like 1980 or something. So all the answers are like as if it was 1980.
Okay.
So that was tough. But we played some games. It was fun. But that wasn't quite as early. And then later that day, I get a call from the distributor around here that the corporate Busch guy, air quotes, the guy on the Super Bowl commercials, the guy that they're parading around San Antonio during the Iowa State Bowl game, is in my hometown, and they are willing to shoot some content.
Wild.
But you have to go now, they said. It was like, got to go now. Obviously, I hopped in the car, and we'll talk about that in a little bit again. But yeah, so then that derailed my day before you Betchapalooza.
Yeah, threw a wrench in everything.
But you're not going to not shoot that content.
Right.
So that was the Friday. And then Saturday rolls around, game day, you Betchapalooza. We show up. Tent's not up. We get there at like 9:45. No one's to be seen. The snow's plowed out of the way, but that's about it. We couldn't set up any of the bags because they had to like move a trailer in there to get the tent set up.
Yep.
The tent finally got set up though easily by like 11:15, even though everyone was supposed to check in at 11:30, so that's no problem.
You're right.
But that's part of, I guess, running an event is a lot of shit's going to go wrong. And I think that we handled it the best we could.
Yeah, I mean, we got to sit in a warm truck for like 30 minutes longer.
Yeah, that was great. That was terrible because I was just sitting there just like stressing.
Yeah.
And I had someone come up to me later in the event. He's like, hey, are you okay? Like when we first got here, you were pretty stressed out. And I was like, well, no, obviously I was stressed out. Nothing was set up when you guys got here. And then the music, there was no speakers, even though I had 2 sets of speakers lined up. Neither of those came through, but
you literally opened the doors of your truck and turned the volume all the way up.
That's what we do.
It's the cost of doing business, man.
We just solve problems around here. I could have threw a little baby hissy fit about no speakers, but instead I was like, we're just going to do this the only way I know how, the old concrete construction way. You whip open the doors on your truck, you crank up the music, and you just get the job done. So it's kind of what we did. But amongst all of the stuff that didn't go right, I think the event was a huge success.
Yeah.
Where obviously we do some stuff different with the cornhole tournament, some factors that we didn't factor in of like the fact that the boards are going to be super slippery because it's just cold out.
Yeah.
But I think it was a big success. We drank the bar out of Busch Light as I told them we would.
Bound to happen.
We actually have on video that one of the guys,
Busch burp.
Nice Busch burp. One of the guys who was providing the beer for the weekend, I said, I'm a little bit nervous we're on a Busch Light, but I also wouldn't be that bad if we ran a Busch Light because like that's what we do.
Yeah.
Is we drink and we drink people out of Busch Light. The guy goes, oh, I don't think that's going to happen. And that happened.
So challenge accepted.
Yeah. I mean, took us like 4 hours to get them completely drank out of Busch Light out there. And
the Peaker challenge gave people like an incentive to like, let's grab another beer.
I got a great photo of me laying next to all the cans to come out here. But yeah. So all in all, the after party was great. The band was pretty good. It was great to just chat with everyone. And it was all day. I was talking to someone at some point.
Yeah.
People coming from Nebraska, people coming from Iowa, Wisconsin. So it was a phenomenal turnout. Everyone, I think, had a good time. That's the goal, I guess.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Weather was great.
There was a winner. The team Lattes over Ladies took home the crown, the $500. And yeah, I think it was a good event. Did you have a good time, Ryan?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I think what was, and you probably know what I'm going to touch on here. What was like so eye-opening to me was like, I'm just the guy on the podcast. And
yeah, Ryan had some fans there.
I had fans there and they were like, oh man, Ryan, the t-shirt guy, like you still have your job, like hitting on that bit about the job security not really being there.
What was funny too is you guys were winning.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Well, hold on. You guys were winning. And then as soon as I offered up buying someone a free Busch Light if they beat Ryan, they got beat right away. So
team
apparently
guy.
I just need to do that right from the get-go next time.
Yeah.
Whoa,
So
whoa. I didn't mean to say next time. We haven't decided if we're going to do this again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so all in all, the weekend was awesome, pretty exhausting, pretty busy, but that's what we signed up for, and that's what we wanted it to be like. And so, yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about meeting the corporate air quotes Busch guy. Jerry is his name.
Jerry.
Meeting Jerry, and then just talk some more You Betchapalooza. All right, guys. Now we'll dive a little bit deeper into kind of just the day of You Betchapalooza. Basically, we started off with the cornhole tournament. One of the best parts was doing the group Busch
That was great.
together. If you haven't seen that video, it's on all of our social medias. I'm standing on the back of a tailgate, and a bunch of people are gathered around, and we all do it together, and it turned out as good as I wanted
fantastic.
it to. Yeah. So that was pretty fun, and everyone's saying, "Oh my God, that's cold," because that's
kind of
very specific to like this brand and what we're building. Because I mean, corporate Busch, Anheuser-Busch, they've been doing the Busch for a while.
Yep.
So to get, your slogan, "Oh my God, that's cold," to kind of start becoming a thing that's the best part.
And I was kind of, once you did Busch,
It was just like, that's what had to come next.
yes, that I knew that was coming next from you, but I was unsure about how many people were going to join in on it with you after. And if you go check it out on the social media pages, like the "Oh my God, that's cold" from the crowd was just as loud as the Busch from the crowd. That was great.
So it was fun.
Which, by the way, we just launched the "Oh my God, that's cold" t-shirt on the website.
So go get one. Because as you can see in that video, everyone thinks it's cool. So yeah, and then once we launched it, it was kind of all bets were off, in my opinion. I was like, I planned this. Here's what the plan is. It's gonna go not according to plan. So we'll just have to adjust throughout the day. But the people that I was talking to about the cornhole that have like either planned a cornhole event or go to a lot of them, they said, yeah, you did some stuff wrong, but it went way better than what we thought it was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
They said that having the amount of boards that we had and moving people through and at least having somewhat of a plan on the bracket, they said it went a lot smoother than when they showed up and realized that this was just me and Ryan basically,
Right.
and the DS people throwing this event. And so that was good to talk to them and find out that, all right, we did some stuff right. That's, that's a step.
Well, and we even had to jump in the middle of the tournament, make an executive decision about.
You would adjust some of the rules. And they told me that, like almost no cornhole tournaments that have a good amount of teams do like the bust rules.
Okay.
So
That's
that wasn't
interesting.
even a big deal to change that, they said.
Right.
So yeah, we learned some stuff there. The meet and greet was super fun.
Was it?
Yeah.
See, I wasn't really I was just all over the place. I didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So people brought they made their own U-Betty and had me sign it. I was signing shirts and hats and taking photos with people. And, it just that part was really cool. And then the after party was fun too, because all those people just weren't freezing cold anymore.
Right.
They're just hanging out at the bar. And
when you had a little chance to just like decompress a little bit, you don't have to worry about where anything was going, what was happening.
well, so I went to the room to like change and eat, sat down on the bed to change, laid back on the bed.
Oh no.
And I was like, if I lay here for too long, I'm going to be out, because it was just like, I was just going since, whatever time that morning. And so, I was like, all right, I got to get up and get some caffeine. But you walk into a bar where everyone's there to hang out with you. It's pretty energizing to just not be tired anymore, So, So I got a question for you, Ryan. What was it like? Because I've talked to you about the idea for you Betcha long before it was even conceived.
Yep.
What was it like for you to go from that to starting it, to see success, for me to ask you to do the t-shirts, then to ask you to be on the podcast, and to be there and like have people who knew who you were just from like printing shirts and talking on a podcast like that? What was that like?
Yeah. And honestly, like really the only place, there's been a couple posts out there. There's been a couple stories of Ryan, the t-shirt guy. Other than that, it's just the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So out of, the hundreds of people that showed up, there was a good chunk that recognized me. And for me, I've really never, obviously that's I'm a big social media guy. We really click in that aspect to where we can bounce ideas off each other. But it was kind of surreal because you never really expect yourself to be in those shoes, essentially. Obviously it's at another magnitude for you, but even for me as just the guy behind the scenes, which is where I thrive, just to talk to people and have them be like, oh, hey, you're Ryan, the t-shirt guy. I'm like, you bet I am.
You betcha I am.
Yep. So it was, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. I think it hasn't really set in yet, but, just the fact that people have recognized me maybe from just the 6 previous podcasts before this.
Yeah, we've only put out 6 and people knew who you were.
Well, and there's videos out there with millions and millions of views, and the podcast it's good content to sprinkle in, but it's not the magnitude of what You Betcha does.
Yeah.
So to come from a micro piece of content, have them recognize me. I love talking to those kind of people. Like they come up, they recognize you, but it's like, I want to know more about you. Oh, you're from Iowa. You're from Nebraska.
What the hell are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, thank you guys for showing up because, without the travelers or without just the local fans showing up and just like recognizing people like that,
well,
we wouldn't have had a Betchapalooza.
So we've had the conversation about starting the Ryan, the t-shirt guy pages.
We have.
This has given me a lot of confidence to say we should definitely do that.
I'm 100% on board.
So be looking in this next week or two to see a Ryan, the t-shirt guy page where he talks all things t-shirts. You should do like like t-shirt corner, like once a week just talk about the different fabrics and like a super soft voice.
Yeah.
And do like the touch test where you like rub it on your cheek and you describe how it feels.
Yep.
And just
we could get so creative with that.
And you should start a series where you just talk about all the different stuffs you can use t-shirts for, like use it to be a shimmy on your car.
Or dusting off the whiteboard.
Using it as a whiteboard cleaner, dry erase marker cleaner. Just endless. You could clog a sink with a t-shirt. You just plug it down the drain. Just do like a series of stuff that you could do.
So many different uses. It's multifunctional.
I think that would be really funny, and I think that
I'm pumped about that.
So I think we'll do that. I think. Yeah.
So I have a question for you. What was it like? How do I want to word this? So we got there. DS shows up. The distributor shows up. They bring all these banners and all this merchandise and all this kind of stuff. What was it like for you to see people just like flaunting cash out of their wallet just to buy like the You Betcha banner backdrop or like the Busch flag for, I think some guy bought it for like $50. Like we left with like nothing.
Yeah, well, part of that probably had to do with the amount of Busch lattes they drank. People get real generous with their money and what they want when they do that. But I think it's really hard to be like, oh, this is what that means kind of thing. But I think it's one of those things that people can tell that we're headed in the right direction and that it's going to be a lot bigger than what it is now. And so why wouldn't you at least want to do that?
Right.
We were at the first You Betcha Palooza. No, I'm not saying there's going to be another You Betcha.
We're not saying that yet.
We're not saying that yet. But that was crazy. But at the same time, it was. That's the goal, right? This whole thing is to build buzz and to get people to buy into what we're doing, and to like make people feel like they're a part of You Betcha, just like we are.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we want. Like that's what you want in a brand. That's what you want in content. And I think that when people are doing that, they feel like they are a part of it.
Right.
And so I think that was cool to see. Busch burp. Not just because they were stealing signs.
Yeah.
but because they came out and they drove from Nebraska and they drove from Iowa and Wisconsin. Someone's like 8.5 hours just to get to Betchapalooza.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so I think it just shows that we're doing something that people want to be a part of and not just witness, or like those people are like, they were a part of You Betcha that day.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't get to be in the bunker here, but they were at You Betchapalooza, the first one. They were, you know, I posted photos today of some people that we were hanging out with, and they made it on the page. Like, so all that kind of combined together, I think is just like, when you start off doing a brand like this, that's like what your vision is, right?
It's the goal.
And so it's to see it kind of happening in real life is just, it's pretty cool. But it also is like making me like thirsty for more, you know? And, so I can't wait to like sit down this week, because it's like, this was almost like a marker of like, all right, that part of it is done.
Yeah.
Now what's the next thing we do kind of thing. And so we'll sit down and figure out what the next step is. We got some like, not events we're putting on, but I'll be going to some like appearances and stuff here coming up.
Yep.
So if you want me to show up to your event, we do have options for that and appearances and stuff like that. As the You Betcha guy. And so hit us up if you're like on a bar or have an event going on, you want me to show up and hang out and meet and greet and stuff. Cause the more people I can meet, the more people I can greet.
Yeah.
The better. And that's kind of the way I see it. So
yeah, one thing I thought was really cool, and I haven't told you about this, you didn't hear the conversation, but I was talking to some fantastic gals from somewhere in Nebraska. It wasn't Omaha, some smaller town in Nebraska. They were wearing the Busch Light hats.
Oh yeah.
I was talking to them in the ice bar, and they said the reason they wanted to come to this event, and the best thing about the event that they realized when they were there, was everyone was just super nice to each other. It was such a Midwestern event that no one was getting pissed off because they were losing in bags, and no one was throwing fits because this was happening and the bracket was getting messed up. Like that's the attention right there. That's like the group of people that you had imagined circling around this page.
Well, if you think about it too, there's a lot of inner Midwest, you know, stuff that gets thrown around, right? Like Iowa claims that they have better corn than Nebraska. And Wisconsin's proud of their spotted cow, and Iowa says they drink the most Busch Light, and Nebraska says they drink the most Busch Light, and Michigan people have a snooty thing about Wisconsin or whatever it is. But like, You Betcha, I feel like, is bringing all those people to like unite as like, yeah, you piss me off sometimes, but we're both Busch Light drinkers and we're from the Midwest. And so like, screw everyone else. You know, like,
right.
I feel like that's part of the reason why it was kind of felt that way. And I agree with you. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool she said that. A lot of other cool things that I heard throughout the event, but just the people that showed up locally, and also the people that just drove 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever, because that just shows, not that we're saying we're doing another event, but in the future, you know, it just shows the people that you can bring in. And
if we were to want to do an event.
Yeah, that is if we were to do another one. So overall, you're exhausted. It's the cost of doing business is getting on the podcast. I think You Betchapalooza went as well as it could have for the inaugural.
Yeah, kind of. I wouldn't say it like blew my doors off.
Right.
But it was like a little bit better than I expected. I expected some stuff to go wrong, obviously, and this and that, but the fact that the only complaint that we had was that they ran on a Busch Light is definitely a spot that you want to be in.
Absolutely.
That's the best problem.
That was the goal.
have.
Yeah. Did you take a minnow shot?
I didn't get a chance to take a minnow shot.
Did you even? So you were outside. I was taking a couple
Ryan
breaks.
was he was soft. He was inside about
I was hanging out in the ice
75% of the time.
The heaters were nice and warm in there. I took a couple minnow shots. I took one with, actually, Busch burp. I took a minnow shot with the guys that beat me at cornhole, which that's us Midwesterners. I'm not going to hold a grudge. We're just going to go take a minnow shot together.
Ryan did lose eventually, but he was making me sweat there for a little bit. He kept winning.
Yeah. So we won our first game. We lost our second game. And then I realized that we needed to win like 8 games straight to make it to the championship. And then I think we needed to win twice in the championship. So honestly, we won 3 more in the losers bracket, which I was super pumped about. But when we got absolutely waxed for our second loss, I was kind of okay with it because
you were just ready to drink at that point.
I was just ready to not have to be anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I wasn't looking for the board I had to go play on. I wasn't looking for the team that we were playing. I was just able to hang out and have a good time with everyone else. So took a couple minnow shots. My buddy and I were talking. We're like, we don't think Miles was inside that whole time. So it's the cost of doing business.
Yeah,
man.
I don't think I was inside the whole time. It's either running around or hanging out the like meet and greet board. And it was, but that's, I got inside and like thawed out a little bit right after the event. And my cheeks were like so tight from being out in the cold and like the wind that it was like, that feeling where it's just like, they're so red and like windburn and cold. It was just kind of funny to like finally thaw out a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, it looked like you cleaned up well for the event.
Yeah, I put on a button up.
Oh yeah.
Took off my stocking hat, traded in for old snapback or whatever it was. But it was funny because that was a funny part about the after party is the people that I met that day, they all looked a certain way because they're just got all their snow gear on and like the ladies with the like Busch hats on and stuff like that. Then we show up to the after party and you see all these people like they did their hair and they're like not wearing all these like baggy clothes. Yeah. Those ladies who were wearing the Busch hats, they weren't wearing them anymore, and I had to do like a double take because I was like didn't recognize them at first. But it was fun, and I think everyone had fun in the after party and took some photos and danced a little to the band and had a good time. And we're back. Hold on, Ryan. I gotta grab myself something out of the You Betty.
You Biddy.
The You Betty, sorry.
All right, Miles. So,
oh my God, that's cold, Ryan. Or as Ryan would say, wow.
Wow. That's becoming a thing. That'll be.
Well, now I'm making it a thing.
Yeah, Ryan. Well, Ryan, the t-shirt guy.
You should launch your own t-shirt series that says just a shirt that just says wow with the YB logo.
We will. Oh, we will. We're going to get creative with it.
Wow.
So last week, between all the madness happening with you Betchapalooza, you had something really cool happen on Friday. Threw a huge wrench in things. You were trying to get stuff done, and you're like, nope, setting this aside.
Leave it to the corporate Busch guy to just throw my whole day off.
Tell us about that.
Well, his name is Jerry. So I get the call. I'm like, yes, let's do some content with this guy.
So what's the call?
Well, hold on. I felt a little bit like, I don't know if you're an office guy, Ryan, but I felt like Michael Scott when there's wet concrete outside the building and he comes in, he's like, give me ideas of what I need to do. This is a once in lifetime opportunity to write something in the concrete or do something to the wet concrete. What should I do? I would kind of had that feeling when like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to do something with this guy. What should I do? And I was calling people and asked my brother and
You
this
called
and
me.
that. Yeah, I was
You
like,
called me at
I was
work.
like, hey, what should I do? This is what I think I'm going to do. What do you think? And it was just like kind of frantic like this. And I just kept talking. And
Busch.
oh, way to go, Ryan. You got it all over me.
Wow.
Wow. And so it was just like crazy. On my way out there, I put together like a storyboard of like shots that I wanted to do basically as I'm driving. Showed up. I was like a little bit nervous because I didn't know if this guy like actually hated me or not. Like I couldn't tell.
Because you did the video like a month, 2 months ago about the People's Busch guy. Jerry was down in San Antonio.
That he's hashtag not my Busch guy.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. And so I was a little nervous because I ragged on him on the internet pretty publicly. I mean, I did like 2 videos that were kind of hating on him and got people to comment on all their stuff that said hashtag not my Busch guy.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't know if you were going into the place like looking to throw 12 rounds or if you were just like looking at.
So I kind of like walked in, like looked a little bit left and right, walked in and I saw him and I hated it because Jerry is such a nice guy. Walked in, he just gave me a big hug and said, "What's up, man? I've been wanting to meet you for a while," which was kind of funny to hear.
That's wild.
And then we just started talking and we shot that video together. And obviously he's really good at it because he's a professional actor.
Yeah.
Like that's his job is to act. So,
but he also drinks Busch Light like enjoyably.
Yeah. He said that, he drinks Busch Light and he said he grew up drinking Busch Light. He's from Missouri.
Yeah.
And, but the funniest part was I finally had to be like, "Hey man, elephant in the room. How did you feel about my little videos where I was just ragging on you and started a hashtag?" And he started laughing. He's like, "Well, at first I was kind of like, screw this guy. What should we do to get back at him? Like a clap back or whatever."
Yep.
And like, he's like, I was sitting up that night just like thinking, well, this was like the victory for me, right? When he told me that he was thinking about what he was going to do to get me back. In my mind, I'm like, the You Betcha guy won.
He lost sleep over you.
Well, I don't know if he lost sleep, but he spent time out of his day thinking about how he was going to get me back. I think that's a victory for You Betcha.
I would 100% agree.
But then he's like, I realized it was all in good fun and this and that. And then I started watching more of your content. He's like, I think you're funny. I like what you're doing. And now I kind of watch your videos to see what's going on. And he said that he started watching it around when the bushel video came out. And then we started talking about, we both started talking about what it's like being the Busch guy together.
Yeah.
Hey, what has your experience been? Oh, this is what my experience. It's just kind of funny, like Spider-Man meme. If you ever seen that, where the 2 Spider-Mans are just standing there pointing at each other
in the mirror.
But no, he was like a super cool, and I hate to say like down to earth because it's so like cliche, but he was. He's got really white teeth. It made me want to like whiten my teeth. But I think that's part of being an actor. You got to put he probably puts like face masks on and stuff to keep his skin nice. And
he was a good looking dude.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
He's a little bit intoxicating as a good looking guy.
Yeah.
So I can see how he got the gig. But no, we talked about, the fact that I was kind of ragging on him and I was able to talk to some Busch people about my page and if we could work together in the future and all that stuff. Found out that Jerry is a guy from Missouri, grew up in a farming family, drinking Busch Light. So that I think is cool.
Relatable.
Yeah. And all in all, I'm hoping that I can get him on the podcast. He said he was down when he left or when I left.
That'd be awesome.
So I just got to hit him up and get him on the podcast and we can discuss a little more in depth about when I was ripping on him online about being not my Busch guy. But yeah. And luckily we got a lot of it documented. We had a camera there and got some of that. And I'm going to put together a vlog of the weekend and we'll put some of that footage in there.
Yep.
But that also was a funny part too, when the air quotes Busch guy was taking a photo of me and someone else with the People's Busch guy.
Yep.
I thought that was personally hilarious.
That's great.
Another win for you, Betcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super fun, and they were good sports about me doing what I'm doing, and found out a lot that like everyone's always like, hey, why hasn't Busch Light paid you? Why hasn't Busch Light done this? Why hasn't Busch Light done that? There is a lot of hoops to go through just to do content for that big of an organization. And I'm kind of like, I'm going to keep running my little militia here. And
Whatever happens.
I like being rogue a little bit. And that sounds like a nightmare. Like, obviously, like, people be like, oh, but if they gave you a bunch of money, you wouldn't be saying that. It's like, maybe. But at the same time, it's like, I like building a business.
Yep.
And so if it just takes longer because I don't get a deal with someone big or like get a big payday at some point, like this is part of it. Like we're just going to keep trucking along. But it was fun to chat with. Even just like they had some farmers there that actually supply the barley and corn to Busch Light.
It was like full circle. It was the two Busch guys, the people who buy the barley from the farmers,
the farmers
themselves that grow the barley,
and the distributors.
The only
people who were missing were like the brewers, really.
Well, and Ryan, the t-shirt guy.
Well, yeah, whatever, Ryan.
I'll be there next time.
You would have like drank it, and then you would have been standing there with me and Jerry, and then be like, "All right, random guy on the right, can you please get out of the photo?"
And then I would have been on my own social media page documenting the hilarious moments of me getting shoot out of the way and no one recognizing me.
Well, yeah, there you go.
I think what comes to mind for me is you're at this bar and there's like, it's just a normal day at the bar. Yeah, there's like the Busch guys, all these people here to kind of run a mini event or like promote a campaign that they were doing. But like if you're just sitting down having lunch, you gotta be wondering like, the hell is going on right now? Who are these people?
Well, the GM of the bar messaged us and was like, hey, when's that video coming out? Because I want to tell people about it and show people. Yeah, I bet that was weird for him. Well, people who like didn't know who we were, I'm sure were like, who cares about these? This one guy's wearing a flannel and that other guy is like getting in his face. But what was also cool is Jerry was complimenting us on how we're able to create as much content as we do, how we're able to shoot it, edit it, come up with the ideas all ourselves. He also asked me if I was ever into acting or improv. I said no. I was an exercise scientist.
Yeah.
So he was surprised at that, but editing makes your acting seem a lot better, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So it was just cool to talk to him and hear his story and hear his side of things. And basically realize that this guy is just a human, just like we are.
Yeah. He isn't just an actor from LA. He is a Missouri kid who grew up on Busch Light. Yeah, there were some comments on your original videos of just roasting Jerry.
I asked him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, that was." He kind of gave me the like, "You little bastard."
Yeah,
but
it's like Jerry.
What I also thought was cool is he said when he got the gig for being the Busch guy. Air quote, Busch guy. I love how I meet him saying he's a nice guy, and I'm still like not giving him the title.
Yeah.
That he was on his way out of acting. He was like, you know what? I've spent some time trying to make it happen. It's just not happening. And he was actually planning on becoming either a policeman or a fireman.
Cool.
And then he got this call about this audition. He was like, I thought it was a long shot. And he's like, I still was planning on becoming either a policeman or fireman. And then I got the call back and said that I got the gig, and I was like, holy crap, this is like winning the lottery, basically. Bush burp. And so then he said he's just kind of they've been asking him to do a little bit more and a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I go, so when you got the Super Bowl commercial, what was that like? And he was like, yeah, my family was going nuts. My hometown was going nuts. But I can imagine it's
like a Super Bowl commercial, like where... That is what people are watching during the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Do we know how many people watch the Super Bowl? Millions and millions, obviously.
Millions and millions.
So like over this last month with this shoveling video that I have, we're up to like 4.2 million views. Imagine getting all of those views and way more
in 30 seconds.
all at once. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to think about.
You worked hard for those 4.2 million.
Yeah, and it takes a month to get.
You shoveled a long sidewalk for that.
Yeah, right. I shoveled like 3 scoops.
I know.
There's so many people ragging on me like, dude shoveled a 2x2 square and he's dying. What a loser. That's
the
part
internet,
of the bit.
man. You're
Yeah.
right.
No, it was cool to meet him, and again, I was upset that he was a really, really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Damn you, Jerry.
Yeah, I hope, like, I foresee there being some collaborations down the road.
Well, I asked him about it. He was down. He said, personally, me as Jerry I would do it any day of the week. He goes, but
he's binded by this.
Yeah, there's a lot of like corporate tape you got to go through to just get something approved even, he was saying. So I asked him if he wanted to bum rush New Glarus Brewing Company with me and get kicked out. And he said, off the record, absolutely, as Jerry. That sounds like the best time ever. But he's like, I don't think that Busch would go for that. And I was like, probably a good move.
See, there's going to be a time where that contract expires. And you bet
I should have just offered him a job right on the spot. Hey, you can be my intern, Jerry.
Hey, you can work remotely. You can intern for us. Ryan, the t-shirt guy, will be your boss, but you'll have to answer to me.
That was another thing that I had said to him was, you need to have a Busch guy handle. Like he needs to have an Instagram page. He needs to have a Facebook page and all that. It's like, why haven't I done it? And he's kind of like, very good question, Miles. Kind of like, we've talked about it, but again, there's a lot of hoops they got to jump through to do that. Because I was like, it would have been awesome when all that was going down to like tweet at his handle or tag him in that video.
Well, no, exactly, because now...
Or comment on his content and be like, you're bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just this, like, that's a bit right there, is just this ongoing feud of, like, in the comments or the tweets or whatever between the People's Busch guy and not the People's Busch guy, but the people who don't know Jerry, who might be listening to the podcast, it's tough for them to get a visual because we're not really able to tag him in any videos or like present him as the People's Busch guy if you don't follow Busch Light's content, because that's really the only place you can find it.
So maybe they'll start changing some of that stuff up a little bit and be able to move a little faster on content or create a page and have fun with it. So
which is why the position that you're in right now, like, is you can just do
the
that.
Best.
We can just go create.
I can get a phone call at 11:45 and start shooting the video at 12:15.
Yes.
With, I can do that. So yeah, hopefully we see him in some more content / on the podcasts.
Yeah.
I made sure to tell him that I wanted to get him on the podcast before I left. So Busch burp.
We could even get him on as just Jerry. The guy.
I want to ask him what he wears at his house, because they only let him wear the red flannel.
Yeah,
he was in full uniform when I was there.
You were telling me there's only 2 red flannels.
Yeah. He says that if one of them gets wrecked, then they're just down to
He's
one.
Screwed, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you got to find that exact same print.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, I feel like, if they just... But that's the thing, is people get hung up on the tiny details.
Yep.
Yeah, that matters maybe in TV commercials. It doesn't matter on the internet.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
It just doesn't matter. It just, like, I could say one thing today, and then tomorrow I can just decide to change it, and some people are going to be like, what the heck? The other people are going to be like, yeah, let's just roll with it. Who cares?
Yep.
So, again, whatever. I should do another video, like fun and games play.
Yeah.
Or like making fun of them now that I know them.
Yeah.
Hey, like do like hey guys, I'm Jerry. Like be wearing like a light blue flannel, like a You Betcha flannel.
Yep.
Hey guys. Yeah, trust me, I hang out in streams and wear flannels all the time. He said that so they put out a spoken word album, like obviously it's a joke, but it was just a 30-minute long like audio clip where he goes Busch and the shh just lasts
for 30 minutes. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't go and watch it because I'm not going to go watch a 30-minute video.
Yeah, so I asked him about it, and he said that even though like they obviously he didn't do that for that long, and they computer generated a lot of it. He said that he still had to sit in a van. Apparently, they did it in a van, in a sketchy van or something, for like an hour doing different recordings and different like pitches in his voice to choose the best one. Me and you we're in here, and I'm like, do one take, and like I mess up something. I'm like, you know what? Let's just roll with it.
Fine,
no one's gonna care. It sounds fine. Like the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah,
we just let that roll in there. You know, where like he's spending an hour on one word.
Yeah, that's just gonna get computer generated.
Here, Jerry, use this one for your next spoken word, because this is what the real Busch should sound like. This You Betcha Radio podcast was brought to you by our friends at the Bev Buckle. Bev Buckle is a belt buckle that is the world's first retractable drink holder, and you can find them at bevbuckle.com. That's BEVBUCKLE.com, and you can get 15% off of your order by using promo code YouBetcha with no space, YOUBETCHA at bevbuckle.com using promo code YouBetcha for 15% off.
All right, guys, thank you again for tuning into episode 7, the Palooza podcast. We had a fantastic time at the first annual You Betchapalooza.
Hey, whoa, easy there with the first annual.
Not saying that we're going to do another one.
Not saying that we're going to do
let me finish.
A second annual.
So we talked a lot about the You Betchapalooza. We talked a lot about Jerry, the corporate Busch guy, in air quotes. If you haven't seen that video, go check out.
We should just call him air quotes Jerry.
Air quotes Jerry. I think that's a little more respectable too.
Yeah.
So go check out that video of Miles the You Betcha guy versus air quotes Jerry on our social media pages at OUBetcha. That's at OHH You Betcha. I am Ryan the T-shirt guy.
And I'm Miles the You Betcha guy. Thanks for tuning in. May your ranch always be runny and your Busch Light forever be cold. Cheers. Oh my God, that's cold. Wow.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.